Welcome back to Peace, Love and Tarot. This reading is for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon or Rising, and it's the weekly reading for the week of August 12th to the 18th. Your cards this week, Saggy, energies leaving, completing or transitioning. You have the Emperor. Focus energies this week, we have the Seven of Cups clarified with the Queen of Crystals, and we have the Six of Swords coming in towards the end of the week. So Saggy, let's begin in your recent past here. Now we do have the Emperor energy, and I drew a second card for that position, so let's just read them together. And yep, we did get the Tower. So look, Sagittarius, it looks like some of you are transitioning out of a Tower moment, that has previously happened, or you might be in the throes of the Tower at the moment. Now, a Tower moment can be, it's like it's a shattering of an illusion, right? It can be a revelation that makes you see a situation for exactly what it was. You're no longer sort of, having the wool pulled over your eyes. It can be, a chaotic situation that occurs with a person in your life, to sort of shake it up so that you can really decide whether this is the right thing for you. Are you going to release it and let go, or are you going to carry on in that situation? Now, even though it looks like quite a ominous card here, Sagittarius, we must remember that the Tower is a blessing in disguise, because it's the universe stepping in for us and bringing things down that weren't built on a solid foundation, meaning that they weren't serving you for your highest purpose. So the Tower comes in to kind of straighten things out for you, to reveal to you, or to give you the insight of the things that no longer fit for you, that no longer work for you, that are no longer aligned with who you really are. The sort of round crown perched on a square tower, it just wasn't a fit. It wasn't stable, so it only takes one bolt of lightning and this tower is coming down. Now we have that clarified, or sorry, it wasn't clarified, but yeah, came out with the Emperor here, which there's a couple of meanings here. So this situation could have involved a more authoritarian figure. It could be a husband, a partner. It could be a boss or a mentor. So it could have occurred with this kind of person. It's quite possible that it was in the work realm under the Emperor energy, because he quite often links to that sort of practical kind of energy of the workplace. But some of you, it could be in a relationship situation. Another reading of the Emperor could be you actually now stepping into your power and taking control after the Tower has crumbled. It could be you now making that declaration to yourself that you are now going to shape your own world. You're not going to let the world shape you. The Emperor calls the shots. He can rule an empire. He can control an army from the seat of power here. So that could be the position that you're in. And potentially, while you're in this situation and maybe feeling out of power, maybe it affected your self-esteem in some ways, it's unlikely that you would have been able to, to feel that kind of, that urge to take control in that situation. So that's what I'm seeing for you here. Also with the Emperor energy, it can be a reminder to not get too caught up with the emotional charge of the situation, but just to step back, see the big picture, so then you can make the best, logical, practical decisions of how to navigate through the situation, how to navigate through the rubble of that fallen tower. The Emperor wears his armor under his cloak there, not as a sign of him being unemotional, of not being compassionate, but as a symbol of, he can protect himself emotionally when he needs to, while he's in Emperor mode and, making life decisions. Okay, so that's the recent past. Now this week, as your focus energies here, I really feel like the Tower shattered that illusion. It brought some kind of truth or revelation to you, and really I feel like you're in the process of digesting that, of allowing that to sink in this week, Sagittarius, and even that's continuing to unfold for you. So here we have the Seven of Cups clarified with the Ace of Swords. So this is really interesting, because the Seven of Cups can indicate an illusionary situation, It can also indicate, like hollow promises, or those things that were kept just out of reach from you. So in the situation, there could have been, like if it was a work situation, maybe the promise of promotion, the promise of better hours, of better pay, that kind of thing. But it was almost like a bit of a carrot that was just sort of dangled in front of you, but you could never quite grasp that. And if that's your situation, this could be you awakening to the fact that, well, actually, I never really think that, my boss or mentor or whoever it was serious about these offers. They're really just doing that to breadcrumb me and keep me in the position. If it's in a love situation, it could be those hollow promises of, in the future we'll do this, or, future plans that have never manifested, that kind of thing. Somebody just kind of keeping you in there, once again, that breadcrumbing, just keeping you there, giving you the promises to just kind of keep you grasping for it. But under the Ace of Swords energy this week, Sagittarius, this is you really, really seeing with great clarity. This is a mental breakthrough card. And through, seeing a situation for exactly what it is, through seeing the big picture, you are then, that's a sense of victory for you. That's a sense of you coming back into your power, actually retrieving your crown of power. Because when you see a situation for exactly what it is, you can then make the best logical decisions, the best intellectual decisions, swords being the suit of the intellect and mind, for yourself. And the Ace of Swords is also a new beginning. So there is the seeds of potential here. There are the seeds of new beginnings if you can use the sword of victory to cut yourself free from the situation, to cut away what doesn't serve you anymore out of the situation, and or maintain that that intellectual and mental clarity that you need to navigate. Because we have that clarified here too with the Queen of Crystals, and that's equivalent to the Queen of Pentacles in the Rider deck, Sagittarius. So the Queen of Pentacles is kind of a little bit, I guess there's remnants of the Emperor. I mean, she's a more practical, down-to-earth version of the Emperor energy, but she is very, very much somebody who, like I just said, is very practical, earthly, tangible. So she's not somebody that's going to accept hollow promises, things built on shaky foundations. She's all about solidity. She's all about like solid abundance, things that you can actually see, feel, touch. So yeah, I really feel like this is you moving into a place where you're not going to accept those kind of, words, fake promises, that sort of thing. You really want that solidity. And the Queen of Crystals, it's all also about you moving into a more, authoritarian power, but also with, because it's Queen energy, also being able to retain your compassion as well. The Queen of Pentacles is you being able to navigate through the situation and resolve it while still actually being able to do your day job. I mean, the situation might even be in your job, but you're still going to be able to go about that and also come back home and do what you need to in the home. It's that kind of energy. So it's basically, you're taking care of business, you're seeing things for what they are, you're victorious in that, that's giving you the sense of power, and from there you can, actually bring yourself back to a place where you can manage everything while you're making a decision of what you're going to do in the situation. And towards the end of the week, I feel like this is when you make that decision of how you're going to move on from the situation. Because look at the combination we have here, Saggy. So let's start with probably with the Three of Swords here. Yeah, so look, the situation's not been without its hurts, right? The Three of Swords is very much about deep hurts, pain, heartbreak, that kind of thing. So, it could be a lot for you to let go. If it's a partner, that's obviously going to be very sad. If it's a work situation, you might have to move on from colleagues that have become really dear friends as you, transition from that role, as you leave that workplace. So, it can really shake us up, and it can make us feel exposed and vulnerable. But, the sooner you kind of acknowledge those hurts, make a decision as to what you're going to do, then you can actually start to heal these wounds. And the judgment, this is really that awakening, that awakening that you're going through, you're transitioning into this week, to see the situation for what it is. Judgment has that energy to bring all that to the forefront, really. And with that knowledge, under the judgment energy, you can then decide what is the best move forward for you. Because the judgment is, it's a wake-up call. It's the wake-up call of showing you and exposing you a situation, so you can then decide on your next move. So, with judgment, it can be messages of, is there a second chance involved here? If so, what could that mean for you if you decide to stay in this situation? Are you going to get more of this when maybe that's not what you truly want? It can also be a card of forgiveness. So even if you're going to stay or go from the situation, do you need to forgive and forget and let go? Because it's really important part of us being able to leave the past in the past and transition into the future without that sort of baggage. Yeah, but you clearly are coming out of a dark time, Sagittarius. Here we have people that are sort of coming out of the darkness and kind of, that's sort of saying, okay, well, look, I'm offering myself to you, the divine, to help guide me through this situation, because I don't really have, much left to give. They've kind of stripped themselves bare. They're completely vulnerable in this situation. So definitely awakening to the truth, making that final decision under the last call of judgment as to what you're going to do here, Saggy. And under the Six of Swords here, I feel like you probably are going to move on from this situation. The Six of Swords is about making a regretful rite of passage. So, potentially you didn't see this coming, or you thought you'd be in this situation for a lot longer. You were in it for the long haul. But, given what was really going on under the surface and that becoming exposed, then, I think you are going to decide to transition. So I was just getting distracted because I remembered when I put down your cards, I got a vision of a glass-bottomed boat. So I feel like, this week you're really going to be able to see clearly, see to the bottom of the situation, see to the depth of the situation, see the parts of the situation that weren't clear or weren't visible to you before. You're going to be able to have that clarity while floating above the situation, right? Rather than being in it like you were before with the Tower. And that's your key to being able to move on. Now, once again, that reminder with the Six of Swords is to try and continue with an empty vessel if you can. If you can just leave these swords of the past, these swords that have been literally taken out of your heart, try not to then take them in the boat with you as these reminders. If we can leave them on the shore of the choppy waters, continue with an empty boat, then you're going to have that space in your energy field to truly attract into the new opportunity that you deserve, one that is much more calm and peaceful and is going to be a lot brighter for you, Saggy. Okay, so I think we'll leave it there. It's a really powerful message for you, Sagittarius. Big transition for some of you, really seeing something clearly and making the right decision for you, whether to stay or whether to go. So keep in mind it's a general reading, Saggy. It might not resonate with every Sagittarius out there. And I'll see you next week for another reading.